Welcome back to me and my Maverick. So as you guys can see, got a little bit of a project going on here today. Use the points from the FordPass app. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that later on and show you something else that I bought using those points. But I bought this windshield slash bug shield to put on the truck. My thinking was, I've never been a big fan of them, but my thinking was because of all the highway driving that I plan on doing with this, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea for that leading edge to have something to protect it. So I've done a couple of steps of this, but this was probably a good time to bring the video along to show you what's going on. So we'll jump into that, and I'll get in here in front of the camera. Excuse my voice. It has been a rough late fall and early winter for health. I'll tell you, first week in November, I came down with the flu, and I'd had COVID back in May, and it was nothing, right? I mean, I actually still had COVID and did a 5K, so that tells you how much of an impact it had on me. But got the flu in early November, and for 2 weeks, I had, the night sweats and the whole thing that goes with it. And those symptoms and all that didn't go away for about 4 weeks. And it was rough, let me tell you. It was a whole lot worse than COVID was. And, the frustrating part about it is I had the flu shot like 6 weeks before I got the flu. So please no comments about vaccines and all that kind of stuff. I had the flu shot for years, hadn't had the flu in probably 20 years. And for whatever reason, out of the blue, I got it. No one else in the family got it. And just was getting over that, and had a couple of weeks in between that and the holidays, Christmas holidays, and caught a cold from someone at Christmas. And that wasn't real bad either. But then I got laryngitis, and haven't had laryngitis since 1995. So I had to deal with that. So excuse the voice, and don't feel sorry for me. I'm not asking for that. But yeah, so let's get started with this. And before I throw this package away, I'll talk about this. So in the box, this big tall box behind me, there really wasn't anything in it other than the shield and a couple of things on here. So I had to go looking through. There's a warranty page. And on this warranty page, if you guys can see, there is a QR code right there. So that's where you get your instructions. And the only thing that came in the box besides the shield was a little packet that has the warranty, 2 alcohol wipes, and then this surface prep wipe, which is where I'm bringing you guys along right now, because the alcohol stuff was pretty straightforward, right? You're going to clean the front edge of this. So I had wiped it off with, the truck is relatively clean. I washed it yesterday, and then of course here in Indiana it snows again today. And so it's got some stains on it. But wiped all that off, took the alcohol to it, let it dry. So it's nice and clean and ready to go. Well, then you're supposed to use this surface prep wipe. And so this smells like, almost like some kind of a glue. And even though you have the adhesive strips on here, my suspicion is this is something that the strips attached to that sort of activates all of that to stick better. So I'm going to go on, and so what it tells you to do is to wear some kind of gloves, and then the whole leading edge where the sticks, you're supposed to wipe this down. And so we do have to let it dry. So it's very explicit not to get it on your hands. My guess is it probably burns if it contacts the skin. Although I am a little surprised that if it's that bad, I'm going to pull this corner away anyway. My guess is if it's that bad that you would think it would eat right through these gloves, right? So you wipe this prep on. I'm going to get it right down onto the edge because, as you can see here and here, this front edge, which is the part over the hood, is going to be right along the edge of this. There are no screws in this kit. This is it's all adhesive tape, and it's all along this piece of the shield itself, and that supposedly will keep this on here. So wiping all this on, it seems to be drying really quick, and it does get sort of tacky. So it's some kind of a glue, and my guess is that this will eventually wash off. it's a little unnerving to put that all over the front end of this, but we're going to do that anyway. So let's take the glove off. So then what the instructions tell you next is for this tape to peel away a couple inches of this, and basically you fold it like up and below the edges so that you can get hold of it. And then on the top side of this, it has a plastic thing on here. This thing is all scratched up, so I'm hoping that the shield itself is not scratched up when I peel this off. So you just peel that off. It looks really good underneath it, so I think it's fine. It tells you here, you know, to make sure and prep it, and then it tells you here to start in the middle and sort of pull everything away. So one other thing that I did, and I've done this with something else, I don't remember what it was, but I made a mark right in the middle of this shield. So I just took a, like an overhead projector marker, and I made a mark there because this will wash right off, and I gotta be careful not to unmark it. But I also made a mark right here on the grill so that that'll help me when I put this on, I can get down here and visually look at this and line those up. And then this shield should be right in the middle. And it does fit perfectly. I mean, it's right to the edge of the hood on both sides. It does not wrap around the corner of the fender. So, you know, part of me just wants to rip all of this adhesive tape away and just go for it. But another part of me says, I've done this kind of stuff before, and then I'm always asking myself, why didn't I follow the instructions? So we'll try to follow the instructions today and see if we can do it that way. So this is really difficult to even get this started. So I don't think there doesn't seem to be any kind of trick to it. You'd think it would just peel away like any kind of this adhesive stuff would do. But all right, so I got this piece sort of started here. And probably if I'd have just had a razor blade or something handy to get underneath that piece, it made that a little bit easier. There we go. So yeah, so I'm going to pull a couple inches away, and I'm going to fold it up just like sort of talked about in the instructions. So I'll do it on that side and do it on this side. I think what happened there was I was getting too much of the adhesive and not just the tape, because I can see where it sort of came up a little bit. But the other thing I see on here, and I'll show this to you guys, there's these little bumper stops right here and right here, and I'm sure that's just once this thing is down to keep it from vibrating on the hood. So we'll make sure that we get this on there as tight as we can. So what I think I'm going to do, instead of you guys sitting here watching me for 5 minutes, try to do this. Well, maybe it's going to come off, because I still have to peel. If you can see, I want to have one end available to peel to here, but then I need to do the same thing for both ends. So this will take a few minutes to get all this peeled back. So again, I'm going to peel it to the outside so that hopefully this just all peels away. That's what the instruction said to do. It actually has a little picture in there on how to do that. So, and if I'd have been thinking, I cut my fingernails off this morning, so that probably has a little bit to do with this too. That's typically how everything works for me. Is I'll cut my fingernails and I'm trying to do something. I'm like, boy, I wish I had my nails. But yeah, I cut them off to nothing this morning. So while I'm doing this, let me talk a little bit about the FordPass and the reward points that you get. So when you purchase a Ford vehicle, when I purchased the Maverick, they set me up a FordPass account. I didn't even ask to have it set up. And that was different than how it's happened before. So my wife's SUV, the Explorer, I've talked about in other videos, we had to set that up. And then used an email address and password and all that kind of stuff. And then had access to the points. So I received 42,000 points with buying the truck which a point is worth point, let me see if I get this right, 0.05, it's worth half a cent. So what that comes out to for 42,000 points, it came out to $210. So since I had the $210, I bought a bed liner, even though I have a spray-in, like the Rhino lining. I bought a rubber bed mat. Sorry, I said liner. I should have said a mat. And the reason I bought that is because, you know, even though you have the lining in the bed, the lining is really slick. And, you know, it's doing a good job of protecting the metal of the bed. But if you put stuff in there, especially something, you know, like a plastic tote or something like that, you know, they're sliding all over the back end. So you've got to secure them. Well, when you buy that rubber mat to put in there, you know, they do a really good job of staying stationary on that mat. So when I get done with this, if I ever get the tape pulled off here, I'll show that mat to you as well. One of the other things I wanted to show that's a little bit frustrating, but it's not, you know, it is a truck. It's not a car. It is a truck. You've got a bed. It's exposed to the elements. But, you know, one of the other things is I've noticed, so I've done a lot of driving here in the past couple of weeks for the part-time job that I have, and drove through a lot of construction areas. So I mentioned in the car wash video that, you know, I'm out driving, checking out housing construction and stuff like that. So it's a research firm, and I've been helping out for the Indianapolis area because they're short staffed. And so you drive through construction sites, and, you know, if you've driven in new neighborhoods like that, just extremely muddy. And so the truck was filthy dirty, but I noticed when I opened up the bed cover that there was a lot of mud on the mat. But it's not from the bed cover, which I owe that video to you guys too, on installing the back bed cover. But it wasn't from that. It was not coming in off the edges of the bed cover. What it's coming in off of is the tailgate. And the tailgate is just not, it's not very tight fitting. I mean, there's a lot of gaps around it. The tailgate itself latches fine, but there's a lot of gaps around the tailgate. And it allows, you know, especially when you're driving on roads like that where there's mud and those kind of things, it allows a lot of that stuff to get in from the spray of the back end. It allows it to get into that tailgate area. And so if I ever can get this tape off of here, I'll show you guys that here in just a minute, and show you sort of the mess it's made. So the only concern that raised with me, again, I said, you know, it's a truck, it's fine. The only concern I have is that part of what we had planned on doing with this truck is taking this truck on vacations. And we bought a tailgate cover and the bed mat. We bought all that to allow us to put the luggage in the back. Well, now I'm rethinking the whole idea of putting luggage in the back. You know, probably while you're driving, you're going to want to leave the luggage in the back seat. And, you know, if it's just two of us, that's fine. But probably want to leave the luggage in the back seat. And then if you go in somewhere, then you can take the luggage out and secure it in the back end. Okay, so you can see, I can see the tape here. For the most part, let's pull this away a little more. I can see the tape. We'll be able to get access to that as I put this on. So what I'm going to do is since I have this mark, I'm going to line this up really well, and let's just hope I don't really screw this up, right? And I know you probably can't see that in the camera, but the stuff that you wipe on definitely is sticky, and it's left to this film on here. So let me get down here where I can see my mark and line it up. That's really close right there. Okay, so I'm only going to press this down right here. So then what I'm going to do, so that's exactly what they tell you to do right there. So I'm going to pull this off. don't want to do the ends just yet. Let's get the middle down. Yeah, my mark was good. My fitment, I'm off slightly, but I think I can live with that. It's very slight, and I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can't pop that loose. So let's press the hood part down. And of course you have that seam in the hood. So I'll worry about that after I have the other pieces done. So now I'm going to pull out the rest of this tape. I'm going to hold this off of here until I'm ready. Yeah, it did not fit right on here. So I don't know if I can get this off or not. Yeah, so I made a mistake, guys. So I didn't get this corner down far enough. So let's see if it will come. Let's see if it'll come loose. I only need it loose for just a little ways. Again, trying to be careful. Okay, so now let's do the other end. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. I'm off just a tiny bit. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so that'll bother me forever. But I think I'm gonna have to leave it because that tape is bonded to this prep stuff that I put down. And I'm afraid if I start peeling on that, I might have all kinds of things that happen that I don't want to have happen. So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to live with that. So then the last piece of this is we'll take off the plastic. Let's see how it all looks. Okay. I did want to show you what the instruction page looks like. So if I had really good software, I could do that better, but I don't. So it says there's 15 pages of this. I'm trying to figure out what in the world. Oh, because it's not all in English. So I think it's got it in Spanish and French. So I'll hold this up sort of close, but you can see it talks about the parts. This is the prep 1, 2, 3. Tells you how to peel the tape away. Shows one continuous piece of tape on the shield. That was not the case. And then it talks there about applying pressure and putting the rest of it on there. So, yeah, so this sticky stuff on here, that'll probably come off with alcohol, be my guess. And, you know, it looks good. I don't know, so I thought about it and didn't do it. I don't know if I'd had the hood up and maybe could have aligned it a little better that way. But I mean, there's nothing, the way it is, there's nothing wrong with it. It's stuck to the hood, it's not going anywhere. And I'm sure their installations are a lot worse than what this is. But yeah, if you get one of these, you might want to try that. You might want to try putting the hood up and then doing it. But you can't tell it, except that I know it, but I'm slightly crooked And that's because I probably didn't start, I started in the center, but didn't start completely level across the front of the hood. So just take that with a grain of salt and think about that. So this does have the Ford logo on it. This is from, I was talking about the FordPass stuff. This is from Ford, but it's made by Lund. So it comes with Lund branding on it. And when you go to the online, when you use the QR code and go to the online page, it is Truck Heroes who it's actually with. So I think Truck Hero is like a major company that sells under a lot of different brand names. So yeah, so let me, I'm gonna show you my mistake right here. So you can see I didn't quite get the leading edge down as far as I should have. And then on the other side, it's right down there where it's supposed to be. So it's really, like I said, it's really not noticeable, but I know it's there. And so this will probably drive me crazy. So off camera, I'll probably be playing with this, see if I can move it at all. So I'll clean off the residue on there, and that'll be done. So again, I'm all over the place. Back to the FordPass. So I bought this actually with credits that my wife had, and ended up out of pocket spending like 20 bucks. I think the shield is $80. And so using her points, I only spent $20 out of pocket. The bed liner, or the bed mat, that was free. So I used points I had from buying the truck. I think this was about $160 something with tax altogether. Yeah, it was, because I have 40 something dollars left. So it's 160, let's say 165 with tax. And I've got about $45 left to spend from the truck purchase. And so I'm not quite sure what else I'll get, but the bed mat does say Maverick. It's all Ford branded and all that. And it just lays in there. I just unrolled it, laid it in, and that's all there is to it. It's a little scuffed up. Like I've said before, I plan on using this as a truck. Try to keep it as nice as I can, and treat it like we would a car, but plan on using a truck. But I'll show you right here. You can see it in the corner here. Yeah, that actually shows up pretty well. That dirt / mud, that is not from stuff I've done in the back of the truck. And you can even see it a little bit right there on the tailgate. That is coming in from the gaps and the corners of the tailgate. So my only caution there would be aware of that. And if you're going to haul something in the back that you don't want to get wet or dirty, that might be an issue. So you might want to buy plastic totes or something to put in the back instead of using like cloth luggage. So that's something we'll have to keep in mind as we're traveling, is it could get dirty or it could get wet in the back end. And that all comes down to just sort of how this all lines up. But then you can see, and there you go, you can actually see that. You can see that gap all the way into the inside. So that has nothing to do with the bed cover. That is just the way it's made. And I might look in to see if there's some stuff, like I put this foam in here with the bed cover to help stop a little bit of moisture coming in off the edge of the cover. But yeah, and I still owe you guys a video on the back bed cover too. And that video is done. It's going to take a lot of editing because I had to stop and start quite a bit. And I'll get that out there sometime so you guys can see how this done. I will tell you, if you're going to do a bed cover like that, get a person to help you. I did that by myself, and it took like 3 times as long as they say it should take. So enough rambling for now. My obsessive compulsive disorder will kick in, and I'll be trying to see what I can do with that bug shield. So thanks for watching, guys.